Hey everybody, welcome. It's Cheap Comic Collector. This is episode number 118. Wow. All right, so it's giveaway day. We're going to be spinning this wheel in a little while. But before we do that, we are going to take a look at some more comic books. I'm going to see if I can stand them up like this so that I can do this sitting down because I'm tired of standing up all the time. And we'll see how it goes. If I have to stand up, I'll stand up. But so this is Convergence Justice Society of America, the 2-issue miniseries. And this one had some great art in it. It was nice to see the JSA, even though they look a little off. Green Lantern. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Green Lantern. I don't remember his costume looking exactly like that, but maybe I'm just not seeing it right. I don't know. Anyway, this issue, it starts with them already under the dome, and they're old, and they have no powers, and basically the entire issue is them being old. Dr. Fate's in the hospital in a coma because basically, Dr. Fate was the one keeping Kent Nelson alive, and without the powers, he's just in a coma. So the other old guy there is the Flash, Jay Garrick, and he's doing that. And then he goes to see Carter Hall, who is the guy up on the rooftop, and that's his son, Silver Scarab, kind of being a jerk. And the whole issue pretty much is them being old. But it is written extremely well. It is drawn extremely well. And then the challenge happens and they get their powers back. And they're going to have to fight this thing, which is some kind of sentient robot from Cord. And once they get their powers back, Dr. Fate wakes back up, and he grants them their youth. So they come back, with vitality and so on and so forth. I didn't really like that, to tell you the truth. After the whole issue of them being old, I wanted them to find a way to kind of win using their brains instead of their powers, and maybe maybe the Infinity Inc. people would come in or something, but they would be the ones to actually figure out how to solve everything. But anyway, it was a good issue. I enjoyed it, even though you only get like 2 panels with them in costume. It was written very well, and trying to find. Oh, there it goes. I'll just stand up. Let's see if I can find the credits. I remember seeing credits. There they are. Yeah, so Dan Abnett was the writer. Tom Derenick is the penciler, and Trevor Scott is the inker. So, I mean, honestly, for a comic that's just a bunch of old guys talking to each other, it was a good read, and it was a good art. So that was issue number 1. Issue number 2, of course, they now have their powers, so they're gonna fight that thing, and just some nice panels, and the fight does go on for a bit. And the thing with them getting their vitality back and their youth back is it's supposed to basically shorten their lifespan. So the fact that Dr. Fate did that is they're basically stealing, from their future or something in order to. It's supposed to be the last time they can do it. So they're never going to be the JSA again. And Infinity Inc. never shows up during this battle, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they were talking to Silver Scarab earlier, and he was telling them how they were doing everything they could to still break loose from the dome, blah, 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 blah. So you'd think they'd be right there on top of everything. But instead, it's just the four remaining members of the JSA, Flash, Hawkman, Dr. Fate, and Green Lantern. So it kind of, it's, you kind of keep expecting Infinity Inc. to show up, and they just don't, which didn't make much sense. And anyway, JSA wins. They use some teamwork on the robot, and they win, and then it stops, and they're all old again. And basically, they can never be JSA again. It's time for Infinity Inc. to take over. Which is kind of a sad ending, but kind of appropriate for the story they were telling. I don't know. I actually like the first issue a lot better when they were just old men. So next up we got from 1974, Mighty Samson number 26. You can see the corner on this one's chewed up a little bit, but the story is intact. Great cover. One of those great gold key covers. Pretty cool. So, I always thought, and I've never read the Mighty Samson before, and I always was under the impression that it would be something taking place in ancient times, because it's Samson, right? But apparently that's just his name. And this is actually a kind of a post-apocalyptic world where everything's in ruins. So this is Samson, and then I forget the names of his companions here, but they're looking for water because it's all desert. They're hot, and it's everything. Towns and cities and everything are in ruins. So they find a purifying plant for water that still looks like it could be operational. So they're going to try and purify some water. And then see this hand coming out of the deep. And it's going to take her hostage. And so Samson goes and fights the guy. But it turns out that it's actually intelligent. And so they end up on a ship that's manned by all these amphibious creatures who used to be humans, but they've been living in the water with the polluted water, and that's changed them. And so the fact that they're trying to purify the water is going to kill them, and yet they need water. So they're battling. They end up in the water. The sea monster shows up. So they battle that. They battle each other. Once they get in the water, Samson saves the head of the amphibious people, so they decided all to be friends and basically work together in order to figure out a way to... they were going to build a dam so that, there can be polluted water for the amphibious people and clean water for the humans. So that was the end of that. It was pretty good. I was able to read it through without, taking a break or anything. I enjoyed it. It was like a lot of the Gold Key series that I've been sampling. I liked it, and I'm surprised because for years and years and years I ignored those titles. They just didn't seem to have the same dynamic as the superheroes and stuff, but they're actually very well done. So next up, from 1976, we've got Karate Kid number 1. So this only lasted, I think, like 9 issues. It was the first Legion spin-off, so to speak. The cover here is by Mike Grell, who we all know from Warlord. And some of the other Legion Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes covers that I've been showing recently, those were all done by Mike Grell too. A lot of those, but I didn't realize it until later. So before, just before Warlord, apparently he was like the cover artist for the Legion. And so it starts off with Karate Kid back in our time. He's battling the Nemesis Kid, who was a bad guy in the Legion, and he had issued Karate Kid a challenge, so he came back in time, and he's fighting him. And then the other Legionnaires show up, and Karate Kid gets mad because they came, and which enabled Nemesis Kid to get away. And so they have an argument. Karate Kid basically tells them to, go back to the 30th century and leave me alone. Karate Kid has a run-in with a couple of cops that thinks that they're making a movie or something because of all the disaster and want to see his permit. And then he meets this lady who probably becomes a supporting character. I don't know, but they spend a little bit of time on her, so I'm assuming that she becomes a supporting character. There's in place of a letter column, since it's the first issue, they have the story behind the story that tells how it was actually Jim Shooter who created the Karate Kid and Nemesis Kid and Feral Lad and Princess Projectra and stuff in Karate Kid's first appearance, and that's where he got his start. And Karate Kid got his start, and Jim Shooter got his start. Actually, that was the first script that Jim Shooter ever sold when he was 13 years old to DC Comics. So I think that's right. Let me check. 13 seems awful young, but I'm almost positive that's what it said. Yep, 13 years old. Wow, imagine. Yeah, when I was 13 years old, I was trying to figure out how to pay for the comics, let alone being able to write them. So anyway, this was right around the time between the big Superman and Spider-Man crossover. And so yeah, Karate Kid, he tracks down the Nemesis Kid. He has to ride a bus because there's no air cars, because he's not in the 30th century anymore. And then he has to fight these guys, and so on and so forth. There's like a one page of showing off his martial arts skills, and he climbs up an elevator that has like a laser death trap in it, and he finds the Nemesis Kid and beats him up and sticks him in his time bubble and sends him back to the 30th century with a note for the Legion saying basically, don't call me, I'll call you. And that's it. That's the start of his series. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Maybe a little bit. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I love comics that have a lot of story in them, but it was rushed. There was a lot crammed into that one issue. Excuse me. And so, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Karate Kid was always one of my favorite Legionnaires. I didn't see him much, but he always appealed to me. I liked his costume, and I always, I think I've mentioned before, I always gravitated towards the non-powered heroes. So he was right up my alley. And last but not least, we have Cyberspace 3000. Now, this is a glow-in-the-dark cover, which I've showed off, I think, before. If you go check my shorts off of my YouTube page, then there's one showing this cover glowing in the dark. There's like a word balloon right here for Galactus. and his eye lights up, and then like here, and here light up. It's kind of an odd yeah, odd glow in the dark cover, but it does glow in the dark. So if you ever get one and you think there's weird stuff on it, that's what it is. It's the glow in the dark stuff. Uh, so anyway, this one was pretty good. It wasn't exactly my cup of tea because it's basically kind of based on Star Trek, and they even admit that in the letter page in the back. And not to knock Star Trek, it's a good show. It's just, yeah, I'm more of a Star Wars guy than I am a Star Trek guy. That's all I'll say. Not that I won't watch Star Trek, and I did like the new movies, but anyway, they're living on a spaceship. You know, it's the year 3000. They're all living on this spaceship, and there's some kind of thing coming that's interfering with stuff. The lady is the captain of the ship, and there's, you know, some kind of space thing that's on its way, and it's got different characters that it just kind of briefly introduces. There's a religious cult on the ship. This is them who are predicting the end of all things, and actually killing people who don't want to convert to their cult. and yet somehow they still exist on this spaceship with everybody else. It's kind of weird. And there's aliens and stuff on the ship as well. It's not all just humans. And yeah, so they at one point have to fight the cult a little bit, and then they go off because they don't really want to cause trouble, even though they just killed somebody in their family for not becoming converted into their religion. And then basically they're trying to figure out, you know, they lost part of their spaceship, something cut it in half, and then Galactus shows up, and that's the end. So once again, they gave away the surprise ending with the cover. And they even say, you know, guest starring Galactus. Well, I mean, he's only in one panel. It's not really a guest star, guys. But, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. So, 4 winners. I enjoyed all 4 of them. Hard to pick a favorite. I would probably say the Convergence Justice Society, I guess. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed all of them, though. I mean, yeah, on any given day, I could change my mind and say one of these other ones was my favorite. They were all good. They were all good comics. So that's what we looked at today. Let's get back to the giveaway. I have sent out all of the bigger wins on the giveaway. So anybody who sent me a list that has already won, if you haven't gotten your comics already, you should have them by now. By the time this airs, you should have them. And I haven't sent out the minor wins yet. The people who didn't send me a list, who are only going to get a couple comics, and also the new subscribers. And I feel bad about this because I haven't sent the new subscribers their books yet. And the reason is I send them in envelopes like this, and I don't want to show addresses. These are all addressed and ready to go. But I ran out of stamps. I ran out of postage. And yes, I use stamps. And the reason I use stamps is because there's, in case you guys didn't know, if you look up stamps, just look up stamps on the internet, and there's a United States Postal Service website that sells discounted stamps. So you can actually buy forever stamps, you know, older collectible forever stamps at half price. And they're still good because they're forever stamps. So the peanut stamps that I use on the envelopes, instead of being 66 cents a piece, they're only 33 cents a piece. So I'm actually sending the packages for half price. Anyway, that's why I'm just waiting. They've shipped. I went to send them the other day and realized I didn't have enough stamps to even do one envelope. So I immediately ordered more stamps. They're on their way. They should be here in a day or two, and then I'll get those in the mail too. So there's a good chance you'll even have those before this airs, because I'm recording this quite a bit ahead of time. This is October 3rd when I'm recording this, and it's not going to show up till the 11th. So I'm almost a week and a half ahead on videos. So, which is good because I got a lot of work to catch up on. I keep doing this stuff instead. So anyway, that's the case. Let's go ahead and get this giveaway over with. We're going to shuffle and spin the wheel. See who wins this time. Da, 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 da. It is Kentucky Poor Boy. Hey, congratulations, buddy. All right, one of our newer members, I guess I'll call them. So yeah, George from Kentucky. Let's see, you sent me a list, so we'll get those out to you soon. I gotta find a appropriate box because I think I've used up all of my correct size boxes, so it may take a few days to get them out to you. But thank you so much. Thanks everybody for watching. We're just going to, AVG wants to warn me about everything. There we go. So we're going to actually take Kentucky Poor Boy off the wheel because he just won, which gives everybody a better chance next time. We'll be spinning it again next week and see who wins that time. So we'll be back tomorrow with another Comics Den grouping of books. Let's see. Yeah, another 100 Comics Den books. I think it's part 5 of the Comics Den series. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.